This is the limited edition PRS 40th anniversary McCarty SC56. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit late in making this video. PRS sent me this guitar a couple months ago when I was completely consumed with trying to finish my new Fretting Behind the Slide video course, and so I've only just now had time to make this video. And like I said, this is a limited edition model. They only made 400 of them, so they might all be sold out by the time this video comes out, but I still wanted to make a video about it regardless because this guitar has absolutely blown me away. Like I said in my Les Paul versus McCarty 594 video that I made a while back, the Gibson Les Paul, specifically my custom shop Dwayne Allman 59 reissue, is essentially the benchmark for what I want out of an electric guitar. It's basically my reference point by which I compare all other guitars. That being said, after spending a couple months with the McCarty 56, I honestly think that this is just a better guitar, and it might even have become my go-to humbucker guitar. So for today's video, we're gonna dig into why I think this guitar is so special compared to both my Les Paul and the now discontinued McCarty 594 single cut. Let's get into it. Alright, so as always, I have to do a little disclaimer before we get into the main video. So to be fully transparent with you guys, PRS gave me this guitar. And I know for some of you that's going to immediately disqualify anything I have to say about this guitar, which I get it, but hear me out. PRS did not tell me what to say about this guitar, and they did not ask me to make a video. They've never asked me to make a video about any guitar they've sent me, and they're not paying me in any way aside from just letting me have this guitar. PRS initially sent me this guitar just to try it out with no guarantee of me keeping it or anything like that. And after I gave them my honest feedback on this guitar, which was essentially that it's amazing, they said, hey, if you love this thing and are going to play it, then it's yours. Of course, they're expecting me to play this thing publicly, but like I said, no part of the deal involved me having to make a video or getting paid extra. I'm making this video because I'm genuinely excited about this guitar and wanted to share with you guys why I think it's so great. All right, now that that's out of the way, what makes the McCarty SC56 different from the McCarty 594 single cut? Well, at first glance, just looking at this guitar, it's almost identical to the 594. The only real obvious visual difference is the tuners. This model has the new PRS open geared tuners compared to the old Kluson style tuners that were on the previous models, and the new ones work great. I honestly don't notice a huge difference in functionality between these and the old ones, but still, they're obviously some very nice high quality tuners, so no complaints there. And aside from that, just externally looking at this guitar and feeling the neck and so on, again, almost nothing is different from the 594 single cut. The neck shape feels identical, same frets, same radius, same awesome playability, same bone nut, all of the body contours are the same, but still, if you ask me, this guitar is a big improvement on the 594 single cut. And the reason for that is all under the hood. First of all, many of you guys will already know that this guitar has weight relief chambering inside underneath the maple cap. And to me, that is a big part of what makes this guitar special. Now, there are some people out there who are strict purists when it comes to weight relief on these kind of guitars. They like the body to be completely solid mahogany with no weight relief whatsoever. I've never been one of those people. I don't mind weight relief and chambering in guitars. And in this guitar, I think it is so great because first of all, this thing weighs less than 8 pounds. I can't remember how much exactly it weighs, but it's somewhere between 7.5 and 7.75 pounds, which is amazing for a Les Paul style guitar. Single cut style guitars like this are known for being absolute boat anchors. Classic vintage style Les Pauls are typically within the range of 8.5 all the way up to 11, 12 pounds or so. My Les Paul is right at 9 pounds, which isn't unbearable, but it still feels pretty heavy after a full gig's worth of standing up and playing with this thing. And so when you're used to single cut style guitars being on the heavier side, this thing feels as light as a feather. To be fair, the 594 that I had on loan a while back wasn't too heavy. It was about 8.2 pounds, so that's still lighter than your typical Les Paul, but this being even lighter, like I said, it's about 7.75 pounds, just feels so nice and comfortable when you're standing up playing it. And not only that, lightweight guitars like this, if you ask me, have the added benefit of being really loud and resonant acoustically. A video is never gonna really get it across, but this thing is super resonant and lively, which I feel like translates into the electric plugged-in tone of this thing. So that's the first thing that sets this guitar apart for me. I think PRS made an excellent choice with how they chose to weight relieve this thing. Before we move on with the rest of the video, really quickly I just want to tell you guys about the main way that you can support me and my channel. I have 2 complete comprehensive slide guitar video courses that I completely wrote, filmed, and edited myself, both of which can be found at the links in the description down below, and both of them are 55% off for the rest of August. The first one is a standard tuning slide course that teaches you everything you need to know to be a versatile, well-rounded slide player in standard tuning exclusively without having to learn any open tunings and without having to have a separate guitar that's set up just for slide. My other course is a fretting behind the slide course that teaches you the hybrid slide style that I was using in the performance clips of this video, as well as the style of slide playing that legends such as Sonny Landreth, Joey Landreth, and Ariel Posen use when they play. My standard tuning course is suited for all skill levels from beginner to advanced, whereas my fretting behind the slide course is made more for intermediate to advanced players. The cool thing is though, my standard tuning course seamlessly flows into my fretting behind the slide course. So if you're new to slide and want to get to a point where you can play more advanced stuff, including fretting behind the slide, then taking my standard tuning course and then moving on to the fretting behind the slide course will really set you up for success. Like I said, they're both 55% off for the rest of August, which is more than I typically put my courses on sale. Thank you so much to everyone who has bought my courses or anyone who is planning to do so. It really does mean the world to me, and like I said, it's the best way you can support me and my channel. All right, let's get back to talking about this thing. Now let's get into what I think is the biggest improvement that this guitar brings to the PRS single cut model. And that is, of course, the pickups and the electronics. These McCarty 3 pickups are some of the best sounding humbuckers I have ever used. And finally, PRS has made a vintage style single cut, let's just say it, Les Paul style guitar that does not have coil taps. None of these pots are push-pull. They don't do any extra features. They just turn. That's it. These are just normal humbuckers, no extra bells and whistles. This is just a vintage style, Les Paul style setup on a PRS, and it's so good. If you guys watched my Les Paul versus 594 video that I did a few months ago, then you'll know that I pretty much preferred almost every aspect of the 594 over my Les Paul when it comes to like just the construction and fit and finish, playability, all of those kind of things. But the pickups, electronics, and overall sound of the 594 just weren't quite doing it for me compared to my Les Paul. It didn't sound bad by any means, but it just didn't quite have that presence and liveliness and oomph that I'm looking for, and it didn't clean up quite as well as I was hoping. This guitar with these pickups and these electronics completely fixed that for me. This guitar just absolutely roars. And the guitar cleans up really well with the volume knobs without needing any kind of coil tap or anything. And now let's briefly compare this to my Les Paul, because I know you guys are going to complain if I don't. So yeah, in a nutshell, to me, this thing sounds absolutely amazing. It's just a perfect all-around vintage style Les Paul-ish type sound that still has that PRS character, but is probably the most vintagey sounding PRS that I have played. As someone who's coming from more of that vintage style Les Paul sound into the PRS world, this is absolutely the most approachable and the most inspiring and just best sounding version of a PRS that I have ever played. This is one of the best sounding guitars that I own, and it has all of the same amazing feel and playability and build quality of the 594, but is even more lightweight and comfortable to play. So when you combine that with the updated pickups and electronics and just the sound of this thing, you get an extremely inspiring guitar. I haven't been able to put this thing down since I got it, and yeah, this thing is just awesome. Don't worry, I still love and cherish my Les Paul, and I'm gonna play it all the time. I feel like these two guitars are different enough to warrant having them both and using them for different situations, but all things considered, overall, I feel like this is the better instrument. This is now the best two humbucker guitar that I own. So I just wanted to say the biggest thank you to PRS Guitars for sending me this amazing instrument. I'm honored to be a PRS artist, and I really love what they are all about. I just get the impression that Paul himself and the company as a whole truly, genuinely care about making the best guitars they possibly can. They really take artists' feedback seriously and are constantly trying to improve upon their guitars, which I think is really cool. And this guitar is a perfect example of that. Also, I hope they make this a full production model, not just a limited run, because I feel like a lot of people would really dig this guitar, and I think this guitar would convert more Les Paul players than any other PRS to date. So that'll do it for this video. Don't forget that my slide guitar courses are 55% off for the rest of August. Let me know what you guys think about the McCarty SC56, especially if you've gotten to try one out. If you could please like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell notification icon to get notified whenever I post new videos. It really does help out my channel a lot. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you next time.